When God asked Cain where Abel was, Cain said, "Am I my brother's keeper?" When we asked the demonstrators who opposed health care reform whether they had health insurance, they all said yes, they did. A lot of them said they were covered by Medicare, a government-funded program. Some had private insurance, which most said their employers paid for. The one thing they all agreed was that they didn't want the government to help other people get health care, at least not if they would have to pay for it. Most said that would be socialism.
I think that people should get health care.
Okay.
I know people that have lost their health care, and I feel for them, and I want them to get health care, but I don't believe that the public option is the way that it should be done.
For the most part, I'm satisfied with my health care, and I understand that there's people that aren't covered.
People being uninsured, I think we need to dissect who's uninsured because A, they're illegal, B, they choose not to be insured, C, they're not responsible enough, and then there's those who truly need our assistance. And I think the American people are there to help those people. But I think we need to whittle it down.
I think that the people who aren't covered, the 47 million, are inaccurate because many of those are illegals.
Great. Tell me a little bit about your sign.
Well, you know what? We are taking this healthcare thing, which is very important to the people of this country, and they are taking it and putting it under a veil of humanitarianism. And they're taking their socialistic perspective and veiling it under humanitarianism, which is disparaging. Our founders tried to get away from bigger government.
Tell me about what you're doing here today.
Well, I'm very against socialized medicine, big government big government and interfering in healthcare.
Okay, and what is your concern?
I believe that we should let the system take care of itself.
Are you satisfied with the way the system is working right now?
Generally, I am.
But you've heard that some people talk about people being not insured or not having enough insurance.
Most of this country is insured. The vast majority of the people in this country are insured. And maybe something needs to be done for the 10 million or so that aren't. And I don't want my tax dollars paying for illegal immigrants to be insured. I've worked long and hard for this.
Is that mostly who the uninsured are?
There's a fair amount of those that are uninsured, and there's a fair amount of people who just don't want to pay for it. A lot of young people just don't want to pay for their own health insurance.
And what should be done about that?
I don't think the government should cover them.
There's a lot of people bust in here from MoveOn.org. A lot of Obama operatives here today. That's basically it.
And you're here on what side of the issue?
I'm here against Obamacare.
And why is that?
Because I don't believe it's my moral obligation to pay for somebody's health insurance when they're perfectly able to pay for it themselves.
Now you say moral obligation. What's your source for that moral obligation?
President Obama has said that it's our moral obligation to pay for their health insurance.
And where do you draw your moral guidance from?
God.
Now you're familiar with the story of Cain and Abel, right?
Somewhat, yes.
What's the lesson regarding Cain and Abel about being our brother's keeper?
I don't particularly adhere to it.
So you reject that Bible lesson?
Somewhat, but I don't see how that has anything to do with paying for somebody else's insurance.
So if God had said to you, if God had said to you, "Are you your brother's keeper?" you would have said,
"No."